Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out Wreckfest, given away as part of the PlayStation Plus pack for May. And when I heard this was going to be the PlayStation Plus game, I was actually excited because I've wanted to play this game for a while. And now I have, and I actually think it's great. I'm genuinely surprised at that though, with how bad games turn out to be that I actually look forward to. God forbid it's actually good. So we're just going to take a quick look around before we go in because there's some settings we can only really get to out here. You've got all of the audio sliders here, about what you would expect. Notably though, the music is actually quite quiet behind everything else, so I'd recommend having that relatively high just to make sure you can hear it in the middle of a race if that's your particular thing. You also have the ability, of course, to turn it off in the middle of a race, which is nice. Gameplay, just some heads-up display stuff. All the important difficulty stuff is further into the game. Controls, you've got 11 presets. Nothing wrong with any of them really, but the default preset is more than enough. And we've got some advanced options here that let you fiddle around with the nuts and bolts of how the steering, the acceleration, the brake, and the clutch work, which is a nice touch, although the clutch by default doesn't really matter on this as it turns out, because it's just on L1, which is a digital button, so it's always just going to go up and down. It's a bit weird like that. We've got the garage stuff we can go through, but we're not going to worry about that too much yet. We're just going to head straight on into the career. So, I've been through the first two career things here, which is nice. Here's how this all works. You've got a bunch of events. You earn points by completing them. The better you do, the more points you get. And then you get to move on to the later events. You get enough to get to the top of the championship, and you get to move on to the next set of events, and then the next set, and then the next set. And it just continues on like that as it so goes, I suppose. And there are the regular sorts of events, like you've got 4 race events, you've got individual races, you've got destruction derbies, you've got heat races as they call them, where you need to stay in the top bracket over the course of 3 individual races. And then you've got some weird shit. What I want you to see right now is I want you to see the first event of the entire game, because it is genuinely one of the funniest things and one of the best just sort of mission statements I've seen in a game in a while. But notably we can come to the standings to see who we're going up against, although it's just AI here. And we can also see the vehicle damage, which I've currently got in intense. If you put it on realistic, it's very unlikely you'll survive more than a handful of crashes when you start doing destruction derbies. So, and normal is just a bit too slow for my personal taste. So with that said, we've also got bonus targets we can hit. When you hit the bonus targets, that means you get extra experience. So with that said, let's just press the X button and drop straight in, because why not? Loading can be a little slow sometimes, which is weird because this is on the SSD of a PlayStation 5. There you go. Admittedly, it's not that good looking of a game. It's got it where it really counts, but there are some things you can notice, like the grass being the same all the way through, some low quality textures, not that much in the way of environmental detail, but it still looks good enough to do the job. The other difficulty settings, we've got it right here. You've got your driving difficulty, which changes your shifting, your ABS, traction and stability, and you've also got an AI difficulty, which is separate from all of that. Notably, you don't have to worry about keeping this on easy and being able to keep all the trophies, so that's a nice touch. And tuning is where things start to get interesting. So you've got your suspension, your gear ratio, your differential, and your brake balance, and these can all very differently affect how something feels in the game. And over on the right here, thankfully, it tells you exactly what they all do, so you can fiddle around with it to your heart's content. We're going to want a bit more acceleration because this is a destruction derby. We have... how much are we going to be turning? We're going to be turning a fair bit, so we're probably going to want good... We're probably going to want good open handling and rear brake balance so that we can brake a little bit easier. That should do the trick. Let's go. This is the very first event. Just beating the fuck out of people on lawnmowers. Like, seriously. What the shit? You'd expect it to be like a regular race, but no, you press the X button on there, first thing that happens. First fucking thing that happens. last man standing, but everyone's on a fucking lawnmower. And it's great. Not to mention this handles really lightweight in comparison to all the cars that you're driving around. It's not like Dirt 5, where all the cars feel bloody identical most of the time. No, there is actually a fair bit of weight going on here at the very least. So yeah, this is a 3-minute event, but we've already successfully done the challenge, so all we really need to do is beat more people off. The goddamn lawnmowers. But I like it because it sets a sort of mission standard, which is what I said, when it comes to Wreckfest. Because this just kind of gives you an idea of the theme they're going for. Because it's not just the vehicles. There's lawnmowers, there's combine harvesters, there's buses, there's bullshit like that. But it's also just like the atmosphere and the theme going on. Like the people standing outside, just the regular old cars. You probably can't see it on the lawnmowers right now. But when we actually get into the cars proper, it'll start making a lot more sense. Because they've all got their own weird little paint jobs. But they're not like supercars. They're not like really expensive things. You can tell they spend a ton of money on them. All of them are based off just real-world model cars. And they all just feel like random pieces of shit that people have converted into proper, not so much proper race cars, but something that's more appropriate for this kind of event. Like, this honestly could easily be just a random event that, like, one dude was like, hey, I want to do bloody hardcore racing cars in my backyard, which just so happens to be 2,000 acres of grassland all over the place. And a few other people have come along and been like, okay, I've got the cars you can use for that. Hi, graphic design is my passion. Trust me, you'll understand when you see the actual cars. It just creates this weird atmosphere of like, I don't want to say American, because I'm sure there's a few other countries around the world this could fit, but it just creates this atmosphere of regular people making their own damn racing league and just going for it in these pieces of shit cars. That signals the finish. I wrecked 21 people, but that's pretty easy when you're on a fucking lawnmower. When you level up, you get access to new cars and new parts. And you also get money for events that you have completed. I didn't get it this time, obviously, because I, well, already got what I was going to get for this. So we're going to pop up the challenges, and we're going to play Banger Derby, Battered and Bruised, because this is going to be a Destruction Derby. We appear to be stuck in a particular... Oh, no, we're not stuck in a particular car. All right, let's go and have a look at my cars. Cars have a letter grade, and they have some individual stats down the bottom left there, and they can all also hold their own unique tuning. What am I going to use here? I think... You know, my Ram is probably the best choice. It's probably got the most strength out of everything right now. It also has a shark on the roof. Fish are friends, not food. But alright, let's pick him. And we can go to the paint shop. Style him up a bit. Just, it really isn't, like, anything amazing. It's just, this genuinely feels like what some redneck would style up their cars to look like. But at the same time, it's just kind of charming. So I'll just make myself look absolutely hideous. Yes, save the paint changes. We also have upgrades. We can do things like stick in new engines, but sometimes they just like depend on the level and you need money to buy them or what have you. You can stick in all sorts of individual parts to improve the performance a little bit, but again, it all depends on the level and what you've got unlocked. You can also add armor, and this car is armored the fuck up. And this tends to make them slower and less maneuverable, but makes them stronger, which is great for these sorts of events. Whoops. And you can also go for visual upgrades. So you want different kinds of wheels on. What about some exhausts? It's not much. There's always going to be like the same baseline level of car going on here. This isn't even close to something along the lines of, say, Forza. But it's nice. Not to mention the special things. Although, I'm a little bit disappointed. It looks like the rubber duck is part of the DLC, and I want the rubber duck. Bastards. The grill? What the hell is that? So there is some visual upgrades here, and you can come here and tune your car outside of the race, but it's generally a good idea to wait until you're on the event screen itself, because it tells you what the surface is. 100% tarmac, so you can plan around that. And of course, you can also go purchase new cars, but they're all quite expensive. You are generally going to need new cars for different events, so I fully recommend that you hold on to as much money as you can while you're going through the events. They do give you cars when you level up and when you successfully manage to finish certain events. Just a warning. With that said, wreck at least 3 opponents, cause at least 1,500 damage. Don't mind if I do. Yes, they also call it Wreckfest Motors. Subtle. But you can see all of the shitty paint jobs going on around the outside here. What I'm saying is that it communicates a theme. The cars and what they're all obviously based off of. There are cars that I can easily go like, even if I don't know the name of the model in question, I can easily look at some of these cars and be like, oh, that's meant to be based off a certain so-and-so car. There's one car that's got the wheel right in the middle instead of 2 wheels up the front like a fucking Reliant Robin. I know what that's based off of. I know of all of these things, right? So it's clear this is from a bunch of people who really appreciate just getting more down and dirty with some of these cars, you know? Just having some ridiculous paint jobs over recognizable models and beating the shit out of them. Boom! Like that. Because, man, if the car destruction system isn't satisfying in this game, I don't know what could possibly be better about it. Parts come flying off. The doors, the boot, the hood. These cars don't even look like cars at the end of a good destruction derby. They look like fucking metal on wheels that is being willed forward by the force of God. And as a result, it is just really... It just gives you that intense, visceral satisfaction of beating the fucking shit out of a bunch of poor cars. Especially at the end of an event like this. Like, look, you can see just the wrecks of them lying inflamed on the side of the road, slowly drifting off. All of the pieces... Shit. All of the pieces just lying on the ground. All of the scrap. And look, you even push it along the ground as you go. All of this stuff is just... It's so convincing, is what I'm trying to say. It's so incredibly convincing of what it is they're trying to pull off here. The sort of atmosphere they're trying to convey of a bunch of regular people getting in a bunch of just souped up regular old cars from off the street and beating the shit out of them for fun and profit. Who can't disagree with that? And that's not a surprise if you know the developer, Bugbear Entertainment. They made the Flatout games, and this is supposed to be like a sort of spiritual successor to them. Never actually played the original 2 Flatout games, but after having played this, yeah, might have to go do that. Just your bloody wheels can come off, and it makes it really hard to drive. And you've even got like the ability to get your components damaged on the left there. So for example, my engine's kind of shot right now. Notably, this is where the adaptive triggers come in, you see, because the adaptive triggers do give you a little bit of response when you're like holding in the brake or you're trying to accelerate or what have you. And the worse your car is doing, the worse your car is doing, the harder it's going to get for you to fight against the adaptive triggers and actually make these things go. And it's such a nice touch, but like not even just in the sense of the destruction, but in the sense of like knowing when the braking is really going to start to be effective, because I have been driving recently. It's not something I've only really started doing until recently, and just that little feeling that you get when you're just putting your foot on the brake a little, but you're not pushing it in enough to get any real braking. while you're driving, just to get that little bit of extra speed off because you're going like 2 or 3k an hour over the speed limit, right? That feeling is recreated almost perfectly in Wreckfest. And it makes it so much easier to know exactly how much I'm putting on the brake and exactly how much I need to put on the brake in order to actually make a turn happen. Or in order to start slowing down for a corner. And as a result, it just makes the driving really satisfying. The physics are really good too. Sure, there's a couple of instances of you flipping someone over and rolling them with your car alone, but outside of that, the car physics are just satisfying to race in. And that's kind of the best bit. You know what else is the best bit? Really ridiculous events. Banging in the rear. That's what I mean by atmosphere, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to make this bus really fucking fast. Suspension... No, we'll leave it at standard. We'll leave it all at standard, actually. We'll just go. Wreck 8 opponents. I am the only one in a school bus. The question is, how do you wreck 8 opponents that are in fucking supercars? This might actually be a good time to turn the damage up to realistic and just fuck this shit up. Hey, Crash Man. Some of these names are great, like Ghoul Girl, and I believe there's a character called Ramala Rodden or something like that. So Robbie Rodden's granddaughter kind of went off the rails a little bit. Something like that. It's just silly. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how the fuck you're supposed to win this one, but we're just going to leave that one alone. But there are some more ridiculous events like that. In fact, I'd like to take the opportunity to show one off. National Amateurs, I believe... No, it's not Harvesters from Hell. Super Van Smash Up. No, I don't think that... Is that it? No, that's not it. That's a Destruction Derby. Where is it? It's not Limousine Demolition. It's not Harvesters from Hell. Yeah, there it is. The Great Escape. Watch this shit. This is what I mean by the Reliant Robin. Buses. We get to fight buses. I really need to actually tune the car for this one. So, stiff. Gear ratio, a bit on the speed side. Differential, improved grip, definitely. We need that, because look at this fucking thing. Thanks for nothing. And brake balance, give me as effective brakes as possible. I've played this event before. We're going to need them. Because the game has decided to make us race 23 fucking buses. But yeah, the physics are really satisfying. Oh, the cars really do handle differently. Like the Reliant Robin piece of shit here definitely handles differently compared to a four-wheel drive, compared to a rear-wheel drive. And you do definitely need to take some time to get used to all of them. But at the same time, it's not so inherently difficult as to cause a problem. What will cause a problem, though, is the fact that the other cars are more than willing to ram into you if it means they will win. See what I mean? What a little shit. They're a little bit polite like this now, but wait until one person makes the wrong move, and suddenly you've got a ton of buses just piling up on the side of the road. Look at this. I'm being squished. Bastards. And while a lot of the races can go down something like this, right? Where it's What a dick! Look at my poor car! Gonna be more like an arrowhead than anything else in a minute. But yeah, sometimes some ridiculous shit can happen. You'll be on a track and suddenly you'll come around the corner and there's like 12 crashed cars there and you'll be like, what the fuck happened here? Or you'll be playing a race with a bunch of lawnmowers and you'll think, okay, 24 lawnmowers, but then the game will throw a curveball in by having one of the grid spots be taken up by a combine harvester, and you'll look at that, and you'll think, oh, Gasoline Ted is driving the combine harvester? You know what? That's exactly who I would expect to be driving the combine harvester. It just adds a little bit of extra chaos in, having all of this shit going on at once. There it is, Remor Rotten, and I wrecked, so I failed. That's what having damage does to you, folks. Well, I almost had it. Let's go and do an actual race, because admittedly there are a fair bit more races than I've been letting on, so go with Eurotrash, I suppose. Northland Raceway, Outer Roll Reverse. We won't do all 6 races, we'll just do we'll just do a couple. So I could take this thing, or I could take the car I just purchased before this, which is the Boomer. Because of course it is. Any upgrades that I can put on this thing? I doubt it, because yeah, that would upgrade its class, and I don't think they want me doing that. I will give it all the upgrades to the acceleration that I can afford, though. Alright. Events. Is that the Boomer? Yeah, that's got to be the Boomer. Alright. Lead for the length of one rap. One rap. Yo, 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 bitches. I don't know how to rap. Yeah, losing 2 wheels results in the car being instantly wrecked. That makes sense. Although it can be kind of hard to avoid that when you're in a destruction derby. The front is gone, your engine is exposed, your wheels are about to fall off, and you have to hit someone before the time runs out. That can be a bit of a shit. Therefore, perfect for rough gravel and dirt, so we're going to want the suspension to be soft. Gear ratio, we'll leave that at standard, see how it handles. Differential, the grip is limited when cornering or driving on a loose surface. This is entirely loose, so we want to leave that on high, and brake balance will make it easier to brake. There we go. Let's ride. Like, look, that's clearly a Mini Cooper with a racing fin put on the back of it by a guy named Smokey. I'll be a little bit disappointed if there isn't a guy named the Bandit here. Shit. Yay, tires! Although it looks like the people don't fucking care. But yeah, as you can see, the AI, not afraid to get aggressive if it wants to. And that's what makes it fun. At the same time, you can also get aggressive. One of the challenges you will be constantly having is spin out 3 opponents. You better get used to the pit maneuver, because you will be performing it a lot if you want those bonus challenges. There are multiple different courses, but their routes are different. Oh, you motherfucker! We are not going to recover from that very easily. Oh, jeez. Did I just lose a wheel? No, I think that was his... I think that was his wheel. Oh, man. Maybe I did more damage to him than I thought. He's fucked. Alright. Thankfully, if crashes get too bad and you can't find your way through it, you are capable of pressing the triangle button to reset, which puts you back on the field a little bit further back, but with temporary invincibility. So you have the ability to just get back on the track as soon as possible, which is good. Doesn't polish you for something that's your fault too not your fault, I should say, too heavily. And you do need to be at a very low speed to do it, so it's not like I can just press reset now. But yeah, as I said, the physics are quite satisfying. It's not like massively bumpy. It's not like... I can't tell how really reliant it is on the dirt, but then again, that's probably because I've got half the assists on. You never really truly know how good these are until you turn all the assists off. But here is the happy medium for me. This is me finding this to be satisfying driving, because you do absolutely need to brake before these turns. You do absolutely need to be careful about stuff like oversteer. You do absolutely need to tune your car in order to make sure that it isn't flying off the road at the first possible opportunity. But at the same time, the game still helps you out. It tells you how tuning works. It gives you plenty of options. It lets you, with the adaptive triggers at the very least, it gives you a very good idea of what you need to accelerate and brake with. And combined with all of the crap it's got going on, like the damage system, the different kinds of events, and just the general quality of like the racing and the wrecking, I am really enjoying Wreckfest. Not to mention its cool atmosphere that it's got going on. Something just blew the fuck up. That's not good. I'm oversteering. I'm into the drink. Man, it's been a while since I've done that. Guess that's what happens when I'm talking in the middle of one of these. There's also sounds coming out of the speaker on the controller, like the it's like the gear shifting and certain skids and what have you. Oh yeah, you've also got different camera views, although it looks a bit weird for the steering wheel to be moving with no hands attached to it. But then again, get too close to another car and you'll see that like there's someone driving it but he hasn't got his hands on the wheel. Not this car, I think like other cars tend to do that. Third position, cool. I got some credits, I get some experience. Let's move on to the next race. So this is entirely tarmac, so we're gonna need to tune the car up a bit once we get onto it. Also, I will admit that this game has a relatively decent use of... It has a relatively decent use of the activity system on the PlayStation 5. Just jump straight into any of the championships you're on, the series that you're at, or those other things there, which we will get to shortly. We'll make this the last race before we go talk about what that is. Can't even see where I'm bloody going. Look at that, number of cars spun out. Told you that was going to be a thing. Fuck off, Smokey. Smack. You're getting used as a braking thing. Didn't help me too much, but probably fucked him up. I forgot to tune up my car. Said I had to go tune up my car and I bloody didn't do it. Well, I get to suffer now. Whoa! God damn. Alright, can we restart? Yes. Tune my car, please. Suspensions. I want stiff because that's the best for road racing. Gear ratio, we'll stick it up a bit. Differential, we want locked because open is not good for open is good for loose. And brake balance, we'll put it all in the rear. Give us some better cornering. Look at some of these paint jobs, man. They start to repeat. Like sometimes you'll see like more than one car with the same paint job. Like see the car in front of me there, same paint job that I've got. It'd be nice to see a little bit more variety there, but oh well. But yeah, this car is handling entirely differently now. He says as he nearly oversteers off the fucking road. Maybe today's just not my day. Yep, you two stay over there while I just nudge ahead. Gently on the brake. I'm sorry, Mr. Knuckles, but I don't know how your car is still on the road. You look like you've had a very, very bad day. Oh, and he just had a worse day, and I've been spun out. Yep, he's gone. He is just out of the race. The game does at least run fine. I got nothing wrong with the way it performs. It isn't exactly the best looking game. Not too much in the way of like really complicated stuff. The biggest thing you'd have to worry about is the destruction system. You just hope they use the power of the new consoles to add as many of those to the system as possible, to make up for the fact we don't have much in the way of things like environmental details there. Like, if you pay attention to the hills off in the back, it's very clearly a small repeated texture over and over again, but well, we're not going to continue on with that. We're just going to hit quit. I would like to show you the other modes. So, custom event. Select a track, select a circuit, select a car, select an event type, select a difficulty. There's your summary, go for it. Pretty basic stuff, not too out of the ordinary. Multiplayer. Join an event online, it's even got a server browser. Can't argue with that. That's a lot of fucking people. Admittedly, the first time I played this was, like an hour after it came out, so there were only like 20 people playing, but now we got, yeah, like a fair few hundred people. And is it even tells us the region. Can we swap the region from here? Join a racing, join a derby, special vehicles only. Change region. Cool. How are we doing here in my neck of the woods? Alright. All things considered. So yeah, there's going to be people playing multiplayer for this, at least for the next month, because, you know, PlayStation Plus and all that. Tournament, though, is where things get a little bit interesting. This is your other majorly single-player mode. It's basically a Season Pass thing, except it's not really a Season Pass. So you've got your daily challenges and your weekly and your season challenges here, and you can go play them. And you unlock, like, bonus... I believe these are paint jobs. I believe these are paint jobs that you unlock for certain cars. And you can even see statistics for you. And using the fame that you earn through these challenges, you can buy things. Like cars and skins. And just just use them in the main game. And you get 4 challenges here every day. And the notable thing is, you can even play challenges that require the DLC. Because the DLC for this game isn't like single player content. It's just cars, decorations, and customization packs. That's it. And I gotta tell you, man, I actually really like this model. Because not only do you get to try them out here for free, so you can decide if you want to go and buy the passes or not to play like custom events or what have you. But of course, you've just got the whole, you've got constantly new content cycling in. So it does at least make up for the fact that the career is somewhat short. I mean, it's only a few hours I've been playing here, like 2 or 3 at the most. So it means that this will be over quite quickly, but at least you've always got something to be going for here. At least until the servers go down, of course, but at the moment it's alright. I can't imagine this going down too soon, because it's a free PlayStation Plus game right as the PlayStation 5 is coming out. As people get PlayStation 5s, they're going to redeem it. Let's play with some fucking bumper cars, just to end the video off, because why not? This shit is nuts! And yes, you can tune these things as well. Because why the fuck not, right? Give me some more braking power, please. I just appreciate how this one just has a learner plate on the back of it. But yeah, this is how the online challenge stuff works. Just hop in, try and do the event. If you can pull it off, great. If not, you get to try again. There's no like, you only get one chance of this and you're done, which I really appreciate. Just play it as much as you can, get used to the car that's in question, and get the event done for your event points. Use it to buy new vehicles for the main game. Again, I really do wish that there was, like, more single-player content. Like, as the DLC packs get rolled out, just add, like, more single-player events. Even if you just have to use, like, more generic images or what have you. Just something so I don't have to be constantly going in and applying the DLC cars to the events. But no, I really like Wreckfest. The physics are fun, the car destruction is great, and it nails the atmosphere that they're going for, of just regular people doing up ridiculously old cars and using them to beat the shit out of each other. I have no argument against this, and it just works really well. Too bad they can't, like, sponsor something official, but then again, you sponsor something official, and you don't get to have a combine harvester in a race grid with 23 lawnmowers. It knows when it can be ridiculous, and it knows when to be a bit more serious. And all it does, when you've got the silly, is help make the serious that much more appreciable. The soundtrack is kind of all over the place though. You'll hear all sorts of things going on. Tracks that remind you from Frozen Synapse to heavy metal with singers who you can't understand to save your life and think they really need a throat lozenge. And everything in between. And there doesn't seem to be a soundtrack either, which is odd. As in, you can't go to a soundtrack option and at least see what all the songs are. Might be in the credits. I didn't look at the credits, but... oh, that was close. Yes, you can run headfirst into them. Yes, this can screw up your run. Yes, this can screw up the AI players' runs. That's always fun to have happen. And there are even some more ridiculous tracks, like ones where you've got loops around... it's like a oval, but then the oval just merges back onto one road in the middle. So you got cars coming from one way and cars coming from another way. As I said, I've been on one of those courses and I've had just a 12-car pileup in the middle of the road, and I've just found myself asking, what the fuck happened here? So yeah, done. I even get experience for it. Was that enough to that was enough to level me up and give me a new vehicle. Sweet. But I don't get the fame points because I already finished this. But yeah, then you get the advertisement for the downloadable content. Which, you know what? Fine by me. That could be a lot worse. That could be so much worse. So yeah, that's Wreckfest. I really like it. If you're even remotely a fan of racing games, or the old Destruction Derby games, or the old Flat Out games, why haven't you played this yet? The one thing I remember playing Destruction Derby Raw was every time I'd load that game up, I'd always just go straight for the skyscraper mode, and I'd spend an hour trying to survive on that roof. And I could never do it, but it was always satisfying to just jump in and beat the crap out of some cars, and Wreckfest scratches that itch for me precisely. Good job, guys. This has been Blue Maxima. I'll see you all next time.